Shalom, shalom, shalom. Hallelujah. I'm rejoicing in the Elohim of my salvation today. And I just want to come and say to y'all, be all the glory and all the praise. You know, yesterday was June 14th, 2020, which would have marked 20 years of a very a test, I think, which would have been maybe the greatest test of my life, that occurred June 14, 2000. And I really was trying to do the video yesterday to mark that date, and I made 3 attempts to make a recording of my testimony, and the recording, in the middle of me recording it, the camera shut off, or after I thought that I'd recorded, the recording disappeared. So I came today because I refuse to let I don't know if it's the cyber demons or whoever they are steal this today. I want to give the Father thanks and praise that I am here 20 years later, that I am sound, I'm in my right mind, and I've learned to trust in Him. 20 years ago, June 14, 2000, at about 1:30 in the morning, I woke up wet, and I went to the bathroom, and my clothes was red. And when I took down my panty, it was as if a faucet was turning on and red water was coming. That's how I was bleeding. I am sorry for being so graphic. And of course I panicked. But anyway, we went immediately to the hospital, went into A&E. They took blood, and I laid in A&E. We got there about 2 after 2 until like after 6, and a young doctor came in and she walked into the room. But I don't know what they can do with you, because we then ran every test on you and there is absolutely nothing wrong with you. She said nothing wrong with you. She said the only thing is that you have fibroids, and it's not the fibroids that's causing you to bleed. She said, so I don't know what they can do with you. They're upstairs now consulting on what they're going to do with you. Shortly after, another doctor came down and he asked for the woman who had the blood count of below a 6 and a little above a 5, he said. And the nurse pointed to me, and he came and looked at me and was shaking his head. I didn't like it, so I started to sing. And so anyway, I was admitted to the ward. Doctors came, 3 doctors came, saying to me, 2 male came saying to me that they had decided to give me a hysterectomy. I was 25 years old, married for 3 years, and I'd never been pregnant. And I told them, no, you are not taking out my womb. I said, God told me that I am going to have children. A year before, I was in a prayer meeting at our church, that was Faith Temple, and Sister Joanne Gardner used to have a Monday night prayer meeting. And one night she called me out and she fixed my hand as if I was holding a baby. And she put a towel in my hand and she said to me, you will have a child. And at that moment, I remembered that prophecy, and that is what I held on to. And I told them, no, God told me I was going to have a child. You're not taking out my womb. So the second doctor came, the third doctor that came was a female, and she came and she was telling me how you can adopt. And I told her, no, God didn't tell me to adopt. He told me I will have a child. And she was very upset. Oh, we're trying to save your life. You are dying. You are bleeding to death. There's nothing we can do. There's nothing wrong with you. We can't understand this. I told her, that's okay. I understand. I was very calm. I said, but you are not going to take off my womb. And so when my husband came, I related to him the conversation. There was a woman sitting on the side, and she was like, oh, you need to listen, because my sister had the same problem, and she didn't listen, and she died. You can always adopt. And I repeated, God did not tell me that I was going to adopt. He told me I would have a child. So I want to say to you today, what is the word that the Father's given to you in your situation? Whatever's going on with you, find out from Him what it is about and what it is that you're to learn from it, because there's a purpose behind whatever it is you're dealing with. Then after that, my husband admitted me to the private ward, and we got a private doctor, and she came in and she told me she didn't understand it. There was nothing wrong with me, but she will not give me an hysterectomy. She said, we can deal with this. And so when she left, I prayed, and the Father had me open my Bible. I didn't go anywhere without my Bible, and to Daniel chapter 11 verse 32, and I'm going to read that. And such as do wickedly against the covenant shall be corrupt by flatteries. But the people that do know their Elohim shall be strong and do exploits. And know, I looked it up that night, meant to perceive, understand, know, discern, be known, make oneself know, cause to know, to be familiar with, be aware of, to appear, announce, inform, appoint, order, to know sexually, as in to have intercourse. And then exploit is to do, make, create, accomplish, to obey, to offer sacrifice. And I laid in that bed because the Father emphasized to know me. And when I got home, I was there for 3 days. They gave me blood, and for 3 days that blood came out of me, so they discharged me. And they scheduled the operation for July 28. But when I went home, I prayed. I said, Father, you can heal me. He said, this is to start the process in your life of you knowing me. And I could tell you from June 14, 2000 to 20 years later, I have learned the Father. I've learned him. And that's why when I say to people that I know him. I've experienced him. And that's why I emphasize having a relationship with him. July 28, I went into that theater to have that operation, and I went in there crying because I had to sign a form saying that they were going to give me that hysterectomy. And he said to me, trust me. And I went in there, and he let me know he was there because he told me to look over the light that they had in the front of me on my face, and beyond that light was a light. And when I came out of that operating room, the doctor came and she told me, she said, listen to me. She said, that was something in that room. She said, that was historical. She said, because the scan showed that you had 3 fibroids. But when I went in to take out thinking it was one, your whole womb came apart. She said, the whole front part of your womb came out. I was like, what? She said, listen, I did reconstructive surgery on your womb. So I have today 2 children from a womb that they say was reconstructed, because I stood on the word that the Father gave to me. And so I have my 17-year-old and I have my 13-year-old. And because I held on, I didn't let go. I told them no. And I want to encourage you today. Hold on. Don't mind how people want to say, oh, you so super spiritual. Oh, you think you all that. But if the Most High gave you a word, you know it's going to be tested. So no matter what come, you hold on to the word that he has given to you. You understand? But because I held on, that's why I have my children. And listen to me. When I say to you, 2000 started the process, and 2001, 2002, 2003, every year straight up to now, I can tell you that I've experienced the most. I went to the valley. I know what it is after I had my child to not have food. I know what it is to not even have money to buy soap. I know what it is to have to wrap pennies. I used to take her walking and wrap pennies and take them to the store to buy food. One of my neighbors used to come and knock and say, come. My husband go out to give me something to eat because the Father instructed me to stay home with my baby. And my ex-husband was opposed to it, even though the Father said he wanted to give us a place, and everything happened the way the Father said it. He told me, when I spoke with him about it, shared with him what the Father was given to me and instructed me, I told him, you know something, I compromise with you a lot on many things, but not this. I said, I'm going to stay home. And right after I told him that I had 3 dreams. 1 with a property between 2 roads, 2 with a green building, and 3 with us moving in. And each morning I woke up, the Father said, tell him your dream. And I told him, and right after I told him that dream, my daughter was not even a month yet. This was in January of 2003. Someone knocked on her door one night, and he said, I was talking to your husband, but he told me to talk to you. He said, but I get all these thoughts in my head that I'm supposed to do something for you. I have to sell you a property. I have to go to the bank and make the mortgage for you. I have to pay the down payments, and I have to pay the legal fees. Listen to me. I was hollering with my infant child in my lap because the Father told me, stay home. I want to give it to you, and I don't want you to be able to say that you did it yourself. And this man came telling he knew nothing, telling me that the Father was saying to him, You go and do everything. And my ex-husband telling me, oh, you better tell them you go into work. I tell him, no. God don't need no matches. He's fire by himself. So when the bank called saying that she heard that I had C-section, I couldn't come to make the appointment, the interview. She did the interview on the phone. She asked me if I worked. I told her, no, miss. I'm resigning my job as of March because I'm going to stay home with my child. And we got that place. The bank approved it. It was supposed to be debt-free, but things happen when you have opposition. Even in your home, it's divided. So, but we got it. But the Most High said to me in 2016, he said, listen, you saw it. I gave it to you. I did it. Don't worry about it. And so after that experience and leading up, a lot has happened. I mean, I went through a lot. I was on, what did they call it? Social services, food program for 3 years. Had to go to Great Commission to get clothes for me and my 2 children. But in the midst of that, I was learning the Father. He took me down. I learned him in the valley. And I know he was testing me. Because like I say to people, I remember in 2003, he said to me, if you have a need, I provide. And if you don't have a need, if you think you have a need and there's no provision, you don't have a need. Because whenever you have a need, I provide. He said you need to get to that place where you know that I provide for you. Things may appear to be that you have a need, but if there's no provision, there is no need. And that is how I live today. And I experienced the Father that even in the midst of that, he had orchestrated. I remember when I went to the unemployment place and someone greeted me at the door and I told them what I came to do, and they said, what? And you were getting your unemployment from NIB? I said, no. He said, come here. And he told me, he said, here, give me a paper. He said, go to NIB right now to this woman. He said, go, don't stop nowhere. Go, she's waiting for you. And when I got there, that lady was waiting for me. She called me in. She had me find this form. She said, now you come back here Friday for your check. I was like, what? She said, yes, we're going to pay you $200 and some for the next 13 weeks. Listen to me. And I was like, oh my goodness. Because at that time, I had separated from my husband. This would have been in 2010. I lost my job. I was in an apartment with my 2 little children. I couldn't pay my rent. Didn't have no money. No money. And the Father directed me on where to go to get help, and he had people line up to help me. I went on a job interview and the woman said to me, I can't hire you. I can't understand. I want to hire you so bad, but someone want to let me hire you. So she called me days later. She said, come out, and I left something for you. When I went there, it was a check for $150. I needed $100 because prior to losing my job, I was paying ASU, and I needed to pay the person the last payment of $100, and I didn't have that. And that lady gave me $150. I went and I paid the last payment for the ASU, and I told my 2 children, I said, you see what it means to trust the Father. I say, see here, we have $50. Listen to me, that was a lot of money for us. But I thank the Father that was in the valley, that I learned to trust him. And I want to encourage women, because in 2005, when I thought I was going to die, I was sick. And my ex-husband was pushing me out to get a job. Even though I was in pain, I could barely walk. And I asked him that morning to use his car to go to my sister to take her my resume. And as I drove through that road in Sandilands Village, the Father said to me, there are some women that you cannot talk to because you ain't been through nothing. And listen, up to that point, I thought everybody was trying to kill me. And he can say to me, you ain't been through nothing. He said, because there's some woman out there that don't know how to call on me. He said, at least you know how to call on me. So I want to say to women today, call on the name of the Most High. Listen, I went through, people were looking at me funny because I had this and I had that, but I had my 2 children to feed, so I had time and money to buy, put on no nails and all this stuff. I had to feed my 2 children. But you call on the name of the Father because he knows where you are. He said to me, no bad women out there. There are women who are trying to feed their families. Call on him, because I could tell you today, 3 years, I got from 2010 to 2013. I got a job in 2013. I was getting, every month I went to social services to get that $60 or $80 coupon. That's how I lived, because my ex-husband was not, and I ain't the kind of woman, listen to me, I ain't laying down with no man for them to feed their children. And I wasn't getting with no man because I was in a need for you to pay my rent. I stayed in an apartment for 9 months and I could not pay no rent, and nobody came and tell me get out. I called the man, I tell him the father's telling me to go back to my house because the father told me go back. That's where I prepared for you to be. So I want to encourage you to trust in the Most High. Women, trust in Him. So I say to people today, I didn't borrow, I didn't beg, and I didn't lay on my back. Yes, people looked at me with scorn. I know what it is to park on Village Road with my 2 children and sell water just to take care of my 2 children. I refuse to let anybody, including the man I was married with, say I have to do and whatever just for you to take care of your children. I went out and I the little money, I don't remember where I got the money from. Oh, I was keeping somebody else's babies. And I took money and I was trying to turn it over. So I used to go out on Saturdays with my children in the car because their dad wouldn't keep them, and sell water. And then I started bringing cakes from Eleuthera and different things and baking cakes to take care of my children. And the father was with me. I had people waiting on me for my cakes and my water. They used to wait for me. And so let me tell you something. Trust Him. Trust Him. That's all I can tell you. Trust Him. And whatever word, the word He gave to you, you hold on to the word. I am living today. Yes, I had to walk away from that place that the father, and He told me leave it because of the hardness of your husband's heart, He will deal with that. So in 2016, after my divorce, I tried to get in and every door closed, and I knew it was the father. I walked away and I left it. But now my children and I, we are happy, we're at peace. I don't owe nobody no money. I don't borrow no money. I give, and I am a lender. The father turned everything around for me, and I've seen His hand, and I don't have no man coming to me because I need you to do this and do that. Ain't none coming at all because they ain't want to commit, but that's another story. But in the my point is, my children and I are fine. For over the last year, I had to take care of them both financially, paying my son's school. And that's why someone said to me, I heard you screaming when your daughter graduated. I know why I was screaming. I know why I was screaming. To see where the father brought me from. I know when I used to have to walk, catch bus with her to go to NCA because her dad would not drop her because he didn't want me to keep the 2 babies I was keeping to make money so I could be home with them, with my baby, my son. You see? And so I know why I scream. I know why I praise Him. I know why I'm encouraging you to trust Him. To trust Him because I've been in that place. I've been there. And I've been low. I can tell you I went low, low, low. But y'all never left me. And in the midst of my sorrow, in the midst of my darkness, in the midst of my shame, He called me Hadassah. That's where I got my name, Hadassah. And I understood that it was Him. And when I got the true meaning of my name, Hadassah, after my divorce, I went and I paid over $1,000 to get my name changed. Because I said, you know something? The father called me Hadassah. I'm going to be Hadassah. And so I legally had my name legally changed to Hadassah. So I am Hadassah. My father's name is in my name. And so, listen, He said He was starting the process for me to know Him. I'm grateful for that. And I went through and I wouldn't exchange it. There was so much more that I can say. I have a son. When I left my dear dad in 2004, I went to Eleuthera. And the first night there, I had a dream. Because I asked him, what do you want me to do? Because I wanted to leave. And he was telling me, stay. And I dreamt there were 4 children looking at me. And 3 ran away. And there was this little dark boy looking at me and looking at the children. And I said, Joshua, come here. And the child come running to me, and I jump up and I say, what? And he said to me, stay the course. See, the Father always give you a word. If we trust Him, He can help us to walk in the path that He has for us. His way, Yahweh. He will have us walk in His path. That little boy came to me in 2006, 12 pounds, 10 ounces. From the same womb that they said was reconstructed. I am serving Yahweh Almighty. And I'm not going to apologize. I ain't going to act like someone said, oh, you act like He belonged to you. But if you don't want to own Him like He belonged to you, that's a matter for you. But when I used to get up in 2005 every day at 2 o'clock, could not sleep, and my body breaking down, it was him that I was calling on. I couldn't even explain to people what was going on. Someone called me from the church, said the father showed them I'm having a nervous breakdown. I said, well, maybe. I don't know. I went out one day with all my clothes on back in the front and didn't realize it. I said, maybe. I pain, couldn't sit down, couldn't get up. You understand? So I know what I've been through. I know what I've been through, and I know why I praise him. I know why I'm trusting in him, and I can only encourage you to do the same. Trust in women. This is especially for women. Trust him, especially in days that coming. You need to know the Elohim that you serve. You need to know that what you see is not what it is, that the Father gets you. He have you, and he's going to make a provision. You don't have to be a doormat, a bed mat, or nothing. It has grieved my heart when I hear men talking about $5 and $40. 9 months I lived in an apartment. The rent was $550. I didn't have no money to pay it. The Father provided for me to pay the light, the phone. Cable bombers called me one time, wanted to give me Disney, and I was like, what? And the Father said, take it for the children. Listen, and I couldn't pay my rent, and I keep saying, but I can't pay my rent. You understand me? But I had enough, and he was saying to me, go back. And so I packed up, and I swallowed my pride, and I went back to live with my ex-husband. Listen to me, it was the most difficult 5 years of my life. But anyway, Yahweh saw me through it. But I'm happy today, and I just wanted to share that with you. I want to share that with you. I want to encourage some women today. No one can look at me and see what I've been through. You understand me? But they said of that song, you don't know the cost of my praise. You don't know the cost of my praise. And I won't stop. I won't give up. After 20 years, no. That was just 20 years of knowing him. So that's my testimony. And I want to encourage someone today. God bless you. Love you. Women, listen. Daughters of Zion, arise. Take your place. Arise. Trust the Most High. Let him be to you what you need. Let him be to you what you need. Shalom.